everybody, and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode we're reviewing New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong, episode number 95. We're going to jump right into this. The show's emanating from the former ECW Arena, now 2300 Arena. The first match of the night is billed as the LA Dojo versus Team Filthy. Representing LA Dojo, we have Alex Coughlin, the DKC, and Kevin Knight. Representing Team Filthy, we have JR Kratos, Royce Isaacs, and Jarrell Nelson, aka Isaacs and Nelson are the West Coast Wrecking Crew. I really enjoyed this match. I like these matches. I like these multi-man matches that they start the show with. They're always pretty fast-paced. They're always good wrestling. It's always exciting. A good way to get your blood pumping, get you into the show. I thought this was a solid match. I really loved Alex Coughlin's entrance here. He kind of had a semi-Terminator-esque appearance. Go watch it. I'm probably explaining it very poorly. This was awesome, though. I did enjoy this match to begin the show. The Team Filthy team of Kratos, Isaacs, and Nelson pick up the win here. I'm giving this a 3. I thought it was a good, solid opener, a good way to get you excited going into the show. Now, next up, we have Delirious versus Arya Davari. And I want to say, if it's not both of these guys' first appearance on Strong, it's at least Delirious's, and I'm almost 100% sure Davari as well. Davari, very underrated wrestler. Delirious, too. Delirious kind of gets lumped into that comedy wrestler mold, but he's so much more. He could actually wrestle a real good and convincing style. He's a very good trainer. I think his booking in Ring of Honor was very solid as well. Davari, Arya Davari, not to be confused with his brother Sean. He's kind of overshadowed by his brother. His brother is a little bit more charismatic, but Arya is just as good in the ring as Sean is, in my opinion. This was a really good match. I was a little bit surprised with it being in Philadelphia that Davari picked up the win here. I'm giving this match a 4. I thought it was pretty good. Now, next up, sticking with the theme of debuts, we get a New Japan Strong debut of Jake Something going up against Brody King. And this was billed as exactly what it should have been billed as, a hoss fight. Two really big dudes, I believe they're both 6'6" to 6'8", somewhere in that range, both pushing the 300-pound mark. Jake Something is a guy who, if you watched Impact Wrestling, always kind of stood out from the crowd, and I still think the best is yet to come from him. I think we haven't really tapped into his full potential. He kind of feels like W. Morrissey did before taking this turn into W. Morrissey. And not to say they have similar skills, but it feels like he's just about to hit that switch, flip on that switch, and go from being a really good, underappreciated wrestler to being a guy that everybody in the world pays attention to. Brody King, fantastic wrestler. In my opinion, he's getting lost a little bit in the shuffle in AEW in the House of Black. He's kind of fallen to be a henchman of Malachi Black. And not that I don't like what they're doing with the House of Black, and not that I don't like the group. I don't feel like he's really being focused on, in my opinion. And it's, again, not that I don't like the grouping. I think Brody King he's got more to offer than just being somebody else's henchman, in my opinion. In this match, Brody King does pick up the win here. I'm giving this a 3. I thought it was good. Not quite as good as the match before or the match after, but still a solid match, still worth checking out, in my opinion. Now, coming from that, our main event of the evening, Chris Dickinson versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace of New Japan, the once in a 100 years generation, or once in a 100-year talent. Well, there's more than one generation in 100 years, obviously. Anytime we get to see Tanahashi in America, it is a gift. It's something that we should really revel on, because here's a guy who's been to the top of the New Japan mountain, took New Japan and put them on his back, and brought them back to prominence when they were in a very bad place when he began his rise to the top. Tanahashi is an absolute legend. He's an absolute star. There's a reason why he's so revered in New Japan and with the people that have watched New Japan for these years. He kind of is, the best I could equate him to for American audiences would be like a Randy Orton or a Seth Rollins. Someone of that level where you could always plug them in the main event and it's always going to be believable. And there have been several times where he's been the most believable, most beloved guy on the roster. And he's still one of the most beloved and most talented men on the roster. Even, I believe, we're 20 years into his career now. Tanahashi, I think, is a timeless talent. He's one of those guys, as much as he is appreciated now, I think 10, 15 years from now, people are going to look back and go that the best guy of that generation might have been Tanahashi. As great as Okada is very good, he's great. I love Okada too. But I just think that Tanahashi, as much has been written about him, doesn't get enough written about him, if that makes any sense. It's kind of like if the Chicago Bulls had Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan was only shown on SportsCenter once every month. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, I digress. Went off on a little bit of a tangent there. Tanahashi picks up the win here. Pretty much an obvious outcome. I'm giving the match a 4. Overall, a really good match. Overall, I'm going to give the show a 4. The two Tanahashi and Dickinson, and Delirious and Davari, those two matches were really good. The other two matches were fun. They kept my interest through the show, so I'm giving it a 4. Again, I say this almost every week, New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong is my favorite weekly wrestling show, and they prove it here again. I can't say enough good things about this. If you haven't got New Japan World, I would highly recommend it. At the price you're getting, if it was just the New Japan Strong shows, it would be worth it on its own. But then you throw in, like, we just saw Dominion on there. Dominion was a fantastic card. It may be one of my favorite cards of the year so far. And they do that over and over again. I mean, you got Wrestle Kingdom, Best of the Super Juniors, G1 is coming up, and that's all going to be phenomenal. People seem to go the extra mile in the G1. You have World Tag League yearly. All of this is coming up, and then for that reason, I think it's something that if you're a wrestling fan, you should really look into purchasing. And before we go here, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't. If you made it all the way to the end, this is going to be a special call to action. We're on episode 95, which also, I'm going to tell my age here, 1995 was the year I graduated high school. So, in the comments here, for those of us that graduated in my graduating class, and if you're watching from my graduating class, there's going to be a little bit of an Easter egg on the thumbnail. A little bit different look to the thumbnail this week, just for the number for the year. You'll get it if you went to my school or you graduated with me. But anyway, I'm rambling here. For the number 95 and the class of 95, I want you to put Truman in the comments, because that is the high school I graduated from. Harry S. Truman Senior High School. And with all that being said, my name is George Coles, and this has been another episode of New Japan, or another review of New Japan Strong. This episode 95.